Hello everyone, I'm back at it again with another video of just ramble and scrambles, scrambles. Anyway, I, you know what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about, like, I guess because I have a bad way of determining time in most cases. Well, Mm, people just how do you describe it? People have told me I tend to live in the present a little too much, where I easily like I'm not forgetful when it comes to the past, but I'm terrified of the future. So I tend to like kind of live in the present, and then kind of like my past mixes with my present. It's just bad thinking, um, that I should focus more on the future, I guess. And and I'm not gonna go any serious conversation of all like what should you do with your life kind of thing. More of just like a conversation of like what do you do to kind of ground yourself into like the passing of time, because I think the reason why people uh the people that are more concerned about the future are the ones that have a hard time processing it happening, cuz like cuz it kind of creeps up on you unexpectedly if you're not paying attention. And lately I've been trying to find ways to avoid that creep. Actually, it's not even the creep. It's more of just like the spontaneous, oh my god, it's been 3 months, kind of mentality. And I know that a lot of people say like, make lists of things, which I do on my phone calendar, where I always have like things that's like, oh, like this holiday is today, or like you have a little event on this day, and you do this at this time and you do this at that time, except on Saturdays. Um, but I don't, but to avoid, like not feeling the passing months. Like with me, it actually took me for some reason, like when I was younger, for some reason, like I could read time. I can say the days of the week, but for the life of me, I had to struggle with the concept of months. Like I get them, like I get how they work. It's roughly 30 to, well, like 29 to 31 days in a month, right? Like average is 30, right? Like I get all that, right? But like my issue was remembering the names of the month and which order they came in when I was younger. And there's sometimes where I super have like I still struggle sometimes with some months. Not the names, but more so the order they come in. I don't know why. Um, and I feel like it's just because I just don't recognize them until it's too late. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's just like for me, it was more like there's spring, well, like there's spring, winter. No, there's my brain. Bleh, even now I can't speak. There's spring, summer, fall, and winter. And which months are those? I don't know what the weather is outside today. Like, so lately I've been trying to come up like little things of just like, I mean, I'm much better when it comes to like what the order of months, obviously, but now it's turned into more of like feeling the months pass by. Um, so I decided to like calendars help. Calendars always help. Um, but I have like I strongly suggest anybody that could, if they could find a calendar they could write notes in, particularly like a day by day calendar, because like having like those basic calendars makes it difficult to do this. If you have those day-by-day calendars that you could tear off each day, or at least like each day is a different page and you could write on it, I strongly suggest writing notes beforehand. Like my calendar, I got the IDW Sonic calendar, and they have like images of like different issues of, of different comic books, right? But there's surprisingly a lot of space to write stuff in. And I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but I was capable of like writing little notes in. So what I did was I took every Saturday, like I sat down before the year started. It was during the start of 2023, and I just sat down and wrote little notes for every single Saturday that was going to happen throughout the year. Um, and just had like, it was kind of funny because like the first few months were really easy to know what to write about because I kind of knew like the like, okay, this is when this holiday happens, or this is when my spring semester ends, so I should probably say something, encouraging to myself about that, or something, right? And then like near like further in the year, it started becoming difficult of what to write about because like it's like what's supposed to happen in this month? I'm like, I guess I should just be encouraging to myself. I guess the best way to put it, because I think maybe because I'm getting old, but I sort of get the whole Facebook those little encouraging oh, life is short, experience blah 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 blah. Like it's still kind of cringe, but I get the idea behind it. But I think, at least from what I've been discovering doing this little experiment, is that I don't think it's not the message as much as where it comes from. Like, uh, a lot of people take encouragement and advice a lot more seriously when it comes from someone they feel like they know, or someone either they know or they feel like they know. Like, when you say, like, you get advice from either a close family friend that you respect, a friend, or just even like YouTubers. Sometimes people, it's just like that they look up to, they would do that. Which I don't know if that's looking up to a YouTuber's advice is not usually the best example, but it's one of those things that's what people do, right? So like trying to give yourself a small note throughout the year kind of helps you, because I think especially with people that are really negative about themselves, uh, just assume that you're always nagging on yourself constantly. So like having like this little note system that I have just made me realize that I'm a lot more encouraging to myself than I give myself credit for, which sounds super saying that out loud, that sounds like super narcissistic, but like it's a I don't know. I like the idea of just like trying to encourage myself more and giving myself it's more of a self-esteem thing, um, and maybe it would help other people. I don't know if it like helps, but it is like a neat little thing to start realizing. I think it's more neat than really helpful, to be honest. Maybe it is a little helpful. I don't know if I like to think it'd be helpful for other people. I just think it's kind of neat how like looking back on some of the notes I wrote down, as like, man, I wrote this when I had no idea that this was going to happen today. It's like, man, this week has like sometimes I'd be like, man, this week sucked, and then I see like the little note of like, hey, did you get past something today? And it's just like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that, or oh yeah, I did do that actually, or like, oh man, I probably should start that, you know. So like it's been a very interesting experiment that I'm probably gonna put more detail and effort to it next time, next calendar I get. And well, you know what? Another thing I started doing. Now this is a bit of a more expensive hobby, so like I strongly recommend this if you are interested in the idea. Um, with me, this hobby could get a little expensive, but then again, the video games are expensive hobbies, so it hasn't stopped people before from having these kind of hobbies. Um, Scented candles for each month. Each month, a different scented candle. I have to use a scented candle because my room could get a little stuffy sometimes, depending on what I'm working on when it comes to, because like art supplies could get when you're in a very small, stuffy room, art supplies could get a bit overwhelming. So what I've been doing is using scented candles, and I think that's helped a lot. And it's also helped me like appreciate the month that I'm in, especially when like I was like, oh yeah, I get to use this candle, and I was like, man, I'm gonna miss this smell, kind of feeling like the summer is like the scent of this month is leaving, and who knows if I'll ever be able to have that scent again, depending on if I could find this candle again. But that's like the idea behind it, right? Like that's like kind of my process into it. It's just like, because there's some months, not all months, but there's some months where I'm just like, wow, really? Like it's not that month anymore? I thought we were still in it. Like, especially during the summer. I think everybody has a hard time feeling certain months passing during the summer, especially when you're out of school. Um, like when you're in the adult world, uh, you're out of well, I guess if you're still in college, like summer is still like a big difference. But even then, there's just some months where it's just like there's some months that are so similar to other months, um, that you just don't realize that it's like, oh yeah, oh, good example, June and January. Not only do they sound similar, but like these 2 months feel very samey when it comes to what happens during those months. Maybe for some people it feels different, but I know those 2 months in particular just make me go. Except for the fact that June is my birthday, the rest of what happens in that month, like everything just like it's like it July still feels like June, you know? But anyway, that was I like doing that. I like doing the whole like candle thing. And I like the whole like calendar notes thing. Like I said, if you want like a little like I strongly suggest like the little calendar note thing if you want to do something like simple. Um, or the scented candles if you want to be old like me. I feel like I've been meeting up with my friend recently, and something about like meeting up with her and buying stuff with her again just it makes me turn into an old lady. Because we suddenly activate our old lady hobbies. Um, and and I think that will be it for today. I would like to know anybody else's like I don't know, like what do you do to like what's like a little like maybe it's not a hobby, but it's like a little thing that you do to kind of help you like it's not passing the time, it's more like acknowledging like the passage of time because I feel like we'd be less anxious about it if we kind of just accepted it. Like I think most things that we're scared of is because we're just having trouble like accepting it. Um, at least for me, because the future always terrified me. Like, well, even my oldest sister, we would discuss this all like, look, I don't do well with change, even when it's good change. So like, I've been trying to find ways to just kind of like, um, I don't know if accepting is the right word, but just like acknowledging it and feeling it happen instead of just ignoring it constantly. Because if I keep ignoring it, it's gonna bite me in the butt eventually. Um, and it's even a more worse feeling. You know what I mean? Like it's a worse feeling to have it creep up on you than just kind of acknowledging that it's happening. All right, everybody. I think that's enough for this video. Talk to you later, guys. Good morning and good night.